everyone. I'm gonna adjust here. It's the first time, I don't know where to look without me looking at you. I have to look at the camera. Okay, the camera's right there. Does that work? I think that works. This is my first time going live on YouTube, and the reason I am doing it is because I actually really, which you know, if you've ever watched this channel before, I really don't like to edit. I don't have the patience to edit, so going live, I can just go live, post it, get my story out, and it will look like I wasn't trying to make it good, I guess. So anyway, of course I want it to be good, and I feel like the content I have is good, but I can't edit. So someday when I'm rich and famous, I will edit for you and pay someone to do it. So anyway, so I am here today. I wanted to give an update on my, I saw a new sleep doctor on yesterday, Thursday. It's Friday now. And I learned some very interesting stuff. So what I've been trying to tell people the past couple years, and I haven't really been following my own advice, but is that you really need to advocate for yourself, right? And of course, I always try to acknowledge that these things are easier said than done. Like, there's always lots of factors that can get in the way of that, so I'm not discounting those. So that's something to think about. But as much as you can, advocate for yourself at the doctor, because I didn't do it for years. But it was also kind of, I was uneducated about what I needed to ask for. So, and then also, if you're seeing a doctor that you don't like or is not a good fit for you, then do not hesitate to get a new doctor, or if there's something you're not sure about, do not hesitate to get a second opinion. I think that's really important. Obviously, so I got diagnosed two and a half years ago, and gosh, you know, now I'm just getting a second opinion because I was a little concerned. So I just thought it was really interesting. My husband might come home in the middle of this, so he knows to be quiet during these, but whatever. So I'm trying to think, where do I begin? So before I knew, and I might have to get up and make a protein shake in the middle of this. Before I knew okay, I think you've probably heard my story about how I got in for a sleep study and got diagnosed for sleep apnea. But before I knew that sleep apnea could affect people like me, because I always thought that it affected usually men who were bigger, big necks. Do I have a big neck? I have no idea. Big necks, potentially overweight, who snore. And I don't really have any of those things. I'm not a man. I don't really snore. I'm a little overweight now, but I'm not. But I've had symptoms since before I was overweight. So, and I don't snore. I said that. So I did not think I could have sleep apnea. So whatever. So anyway, when I went to my doctor, my primary care doctor, to try to, like, convey my desperation of how freaking tired I was, I said, look, I think I might have narcolepsy. Sleep apnea did not cross my mind because I didn't fit the profile, so I said, okay, I have narcolepsy. I said, one of the treatments for narcolepsy is like Ritalin or Adderall. You know I'm not drug seeking. I've been seeing you for 7 years, but I need something to help me because I am miserable. So I want you to give me some Ritalin or Adderall. So, and I don't do those things. I'd never done them recreationally. People do. I never had. But I was just desperate for a solution. I'm not even, now I'm a little more laid back, but for years I didn't like to take any prescriptions, and now I'm like, whatever can make my life better. So, anyway. So, that doctor, when I said that, she said, well, I'm not going to give you those, because, yeah, it's good that she didn't. She said, let's send you for a sleep study. I said, oh, okay, yeah. I never would have thought to get a sleep study, but that makes sense, but of course I didn't think about it. And that's one of the things I try to tell people if they're not thinking. I think a lot of people don't think it's a sleep study. I think sometimes as women we think that if we're tired it's our fault, you know, maybe we have to work less or whatever, or we have to eat better, or we have to do the sleep hygiene, or we have to lose weight, or we're depressed. But people have been telling us this stuff all the time. when it's a possibility you could just have a freaking sleep disorder, right? So it's not always your fault that you are tired. So I said, okay, cool, go get a sleep study. So when I got the sleep study, I scheduled two different parts of the sleep study. The first was overnight sleep study. So I went in at 10, or I think I went in at like 8, went to bed at 10, woke up at 6 a.m. And they measured my breathing, they measured my leg movements, they measured my sleep, brain waves, all sorts of that. So it was in a sleep lab. So that was good. So they did that, and then the next day I woke up and they did what's called an MSLT. I'll refer to it as that, but it's a daytime nap study and it's a multiple sleep latency test. So when I did that, what they do, and I actually understood it as the opposite when they told me this, which is really funny. What I thought they were going to do is let me sleep for 2 hours and wake up for 10 minutes, or 10 or 20 minutes. Sleep for 2 hours, wake up for 10 or 20 minutes. I'm like, that's awesome. I'm tired. I totally want to just sleep all day. Cool. However, it was actually different. So what they would do, so I woke up that day at 6 a.m. I believe they kept me awake for 2 hours. At 8 a.m. I took a 20-minute nap, and then they measured how fast I would fall asleep and how fast I would go into REM sleep. So you do that 5 times. So you go to sleep, I believe, for 15 to 20 minutes. They see how fast you fall asleep, and then they wake you up, then you're up for 2 hours. And then when you're up for 2 hours, and then you do it all again. So I did that 5 times, and it wasn't very fun, let me tell you. It sucked. So, because I was really tired. I was having a hard time staying awake. So yeah. So at this point, the night before, I had displayed symptoms of sleep apnea, but I actually had no idea. So they didn't even tell me this until like maybe until I went in for my follow-up appointment, which was 2 weeks later. So that was very interesting to me. So I went in 2 weeks later, they said, hey, you don't have narcolepsy, but you do have sleep apnea. I said, okay, cool. So I figured that out. During those 5 naps, I did go into REM sleep once after, I believe, 3.5 minutes. And I can't remember, I should have a sleep study here. I can't remember what the normal amount is exactly, but you shouldn't be going into REM after 3 minutes, because it means you could have narcolepsy. So anyway, so one of the 5 naps I did, but that was it. So you have to have 2 naps where you go into REM fast, I guess, you know, within a certain time limit. I think it's within 5 minutes, but I don't know for sure, to be diagnosed with narcolepsy. So anyway, my stepmom, she had that test, and she went into REM within the first 3 naps, like right away, and they sent her home after 3 naps. They're like, okay, you're narcoleptic, go home. So anyway, we got what we need. So anyway, I got my CPAP. It was awesome. I felt way, way better after, I think it was after 2 to 4 days. Felt really a lot better. I had an initial burst of energy, and then it was kind of up and down, you know. I can honestly say that CPAP makes me feel 100 times better. I have more energy I've lost a little weight without really trying. I can eat better. I'm not craving carbs all the time. My face is less puffy. I mean, I still got the circles, but whatever. So I did feel a lot better, which was awesome. And I still feel better. It's night and day how I felt before. I was in really, 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 really rough shape, and I felt really yucky all the freaking time. It was bad. It sucked. However, so while I did feel better after about 1.5 years, I was like, I feel better. I'm not really feeling better enough. Could there be something else wrong with me? I still have some daytime fatigue. I still do sleep for long periods of time, so I have hypersomnia. I can sleep for 15 hours at a time. Before, oh, it's snowing outside. Before CPAP, I could sleep for like 18 to 20 hours during the day. Now I do about 15 on a day. I'm not monitoring it, or I don't have to wake up to be anywhere. So I do have hypersomnia still. But I do feel better when I'm awake and I'm able to get more done. So anyway, but I'm still not, so I feel 100 times better, but I'm still not feeling 100%. So what So I went in, I think, probably about a year ago. And actually, I was seeing someone for mental health stuff, because I do have some anxiety and depression and whatever. That doctor was able, she let me try Adderall for wakefulness, which was a freaking disaster. Because it's basically like meth. And if you have anxiety and you're, like, taking Adderall, and it was not a good fit for me. So, it was, I was on, like, 2.5 milligrams, and I was like, so anyway, so that was not a good fit. So then she did let me try Provigil / modafinil, and modafinil, which is the generic Provigil, which is something people use frequently for narcolepsy. She let me try that, and I was like, okay, cool, and that helped me quite a bit. So I felt better. I was able to get more done, anywhere 50 to 100 milligrams. It was good. So then I became pregnant. I stopped taking it. So that left me tired again. So it's been rough lately. So anyway, so when I got the modafinil, I was feeling better, and then, but not like all the time, but whatever. So then I went to my sleep doctor again. She's not the one who gave me the modafinil. And I was talking to her, and I said, is there still a possibility I could have narcolepsy? She's like, no, you only went into REM sleep for one of the 5 naps. That's not narcolepsy. You'd have to go in more. I'm like, oh, okay. Whatever. And so then she lectured me about sleep hygiene, which if you have a sleep disorder, sleep hygiene, like, doesn't really help you that much. Like, it's just, you're freaking tired. You're tired and exhausted. You're not like, oh, I'm just gonna, oh, yeah, I should just wake up on time. Doesn't really work. So, so she lectured me about sleep hygiene, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, whatever. So I haven't seen her since that, I believe. I do, I'm supposed to go in yearly. I was supposed to go in January again this year, but I just didn't. I didn't really, like, problems with I didn't want to have to pay, because, like, my deductible, I have to meet again, and whatever. So I was like, okay, I'll see her later. So then I got my Air Mini, which you have seen on different posts, and I could not, so you're not supposed to adjust the pressure on your own, but I wanted to adjust the pressure on it. I could not figure it out, and because you're not supposed to adjust the pressure on it anyway, I did. I was like, I should go see the sleep doctor. They can help me adjust the pressure, check in on some other stuff, whatever. But I was like, you know what? Oh, look at that gray hair. Sorry. I said, you know what? I'm not really happy with my sleep doctor. If she's talking to me about sleep hygiene, which I already know what sleep hygiene is, and whatever. If she's talking to me about weight loss, when I've had symptoms since I was not overweight, and what's the other thing? Oh, yeah, depression. All these things are just kind of like one size fits all, and I've addressed them, and am looking at them, and whatever. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go to a new sleep clinic and see a new sleep doctor, try it out. And even my old sleep clinic, it was hard to get records, it was hard to get in, it was hard to even call them. I couldn't even call them. I'd have to call this main line, leave a message, and they would never call me back. So I was like, so no. So I got into an independent sleep center, close to my house, which is awesome. And I went there yesterday, and it was so good. It was just crazy. It was so different than what I'm used to experiencing. So the doctor was very nice. He listened to what I had to say. He looked at all my data before I came in and looked at my story, and he was just like, yeah, I'm like, yeah, I have to get this pressure adjusted, but I'm like, I'm still tired. I have a lot of brain fog. I'm not feeling 100% still, and I don't know what's up, and, I'm on these meds, or I've been on these meds, and they've helped me, and whatever. So he's like, well, I'm very surprised that they did the MSLT on you. I said, oh, no, I really thought I had narcolepsy. My grandma does. She's passed, but my grandma has narcolepsy. So I'm like, yeah, no, they did it. He said, well, if you have sleep apnea and it's not treated, the MSLT might not be very accurate. I was like, oh, okay. Because last time I was into the other sleep doctor, I mentioned it. I was like, hey, could I have narcolepsy? And she's like, no, your MSLT showed it didn't. So what this new doctor was saying, he was saying that if you have untreated apnea, you have to address that first, and then once that baseline is addressed, because untreated apnea is really dangerous and yucky and can make you messed up, once that's addressed, then you can go back and look at narcolepsy and do the MSLT. And the more I think about it, and I don't know how scientifically accurate this is, because I'm just a person, I'm not a doctor. If you think about it, if you are going to sleep, and then you're about to go into REM sleep and you wake yourself up because you're not breathing, then yeah, you're not going to go into REM sleep. So I don't know if, does that make sense to people? I mean, that's not what the doctor said, but that's kind of what I thought. I'm like, oh yeah, if I'm having problems with my breathing, I'm not going to go into REM sleep at all, because, or like a deep sleep, because I'm going to wake myself up breathing. So I thought that was interesting. So he said, yeah, you know, you could have narcolepsy. I was like, really? Okay. Which, to me, it all sucks being tired and foggy all the time, but I would much rather have a narcolepsy diagnosis, because people don't really take idiopathic hypersomnia diagnosis, which is what my other doctor gave me. I don't know if she gave me it officially, but basically, people don't take that very seriously, because they just think you're faking it, which is not true, because you can totally have idiopathic hypersomnia and not be faking it 100%, but they're like, yeah, you should look at, the doctor said you should look into this more. I was like, oh my god. That other doctor just like, yeah, whatever, and he's like, yeah, look into it more. So I thought that was very interesting. However, I'm currently almost 30 weeks pregnant, so it wouldn't really make a lot of sense for me to do a sleep study now, because you do sleep a lot differently while you're pregnant. Your hormones are pregnant. Your hormones are pregnant. Your hormones are different when you're pregnant. So, so yeah, I'm not going to do it now, but he said, you know, wait till you have the baby, wait a couple months after that till everything's calmed down, and then do another sleep study with your CPAP so that your apnea is under control. And he's like, yeah, your sleep apnea looks great. You know, you use the machine religiously, you're very compliant, which I do. You know, I have long sleep times, but I use the CPAP. You know, when I sleep for 15 hours and I use the CPAP. So he said, obviously keep doing that, and then we'll get you set up with a sleep study maybe in the late summer or fall, and see what's up. So, yeah. So I kept waiting for him to be like, and you're fat. Or like, no, I mean, not, doctors don't call you fat, but like weight loss and exercise and blah blah, all these things that are very, very hard to do when you have a sleep disorder. Or I kept waiting for him to be like, well, sleep hygiene, or he said something about long sleep times, and I'm like, great, now he's going to talk about depression. And all these things are like, I get it, I have them all, you know, but it's, I feel like when you have a sleep disorder, these are not easy things to address. You have to, you know, to get to those, you really have to tackle the sleep disorder as well. I do feel like most of my depression and my sleep hygiene is not as good as it could be. My depression's under control for the most part. My weight, I'm pregnant, so I'll worry about that later. I'm not going to worry about my weight right now. But at the same time, my sleep apnea isn't really weight related, so that I know of. So anyway, the other interesting thing, just reading a little bit about narcolepsy, is it comes on in your teens. So I started having symptoms of fatigue when I was 15, and then it gets worse as you get older. So that was interesting. People with narcolepsy have a hard time regulating body temperature, and I actually have hyperhidrosis. I get very hot all the time, so I sweat a lot, so I thought that was interesting. So anyway, interesting stuff, and I'm just very excited and eager to find out what is really wrong with me, if I can. I mean, they might just do it and say, no, it's still idiopathic hypersomnia. And really, the treatment's probably going to be the same, which is modafinil or other drugs, or, you know, naps. I guess, I don't know. So, but I'm eager to learn what happens. So, I can't tell you anything right now. The moral of the story is, see a better sleep doctor if you do not like yours. Go to a better sleep center. See people who listen to you and respect you. It's not, I mean, I think I really just lucked out too, because I was going to the sleep center. I didn't have doctor recommendation, but I know someone who knows this doctor who said that he's awesome, and I just happened to have my appointment with him, so I was very, very happy about that. So anyway, and if you are in Seattle and want me to give you that doctor's name, just shoot me a message or email cpatbabes@gmail.com or Instagram, cpatbabes, whatever, and I'll tell you, because he's really good. So anyway, that's all I have to say today. I hope you all are well. Oh, my cat, Darby. Darby, do you want to come here? Come here, Darby. Darby just joined us from his nap. Oh, he does not want to come here. Meow? Oh. Do you want to say hi to the people, Darby? He talked about old and tired. That's him. So anyway, sorry, I know you're here to not to hear about sleep, not my cat, but look how cute he is. Look how cute he is. Oh, you got big teeth. Anyway, so that's it. I'm gonna end this. I hope you all are well. Comment. I'll try to respond. Might go take a nap. Okay, have a good day. Bye. How do I get out of this? Just exit. Sorry. Okay, bye.